Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Andrej Plenković for MOUs exchanged between India and Croatia. India launches Operation Sindhu to evacuate Indian nationals from Iran. First flight carrying 110 Indian students on way home. US President Donald Trump says Iran proposed a possible meeting at the White House, but it's very late to be talking. Trump also says his patience has run out. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held delegation-level talks with Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković in Zagreb. Leaders held discussions on a wide range of issues. Following delegation-level talks, India and Croatia exchanged 4 agreements. MOUs were exchanged in the field of agriculture and allied sectors. A cultural exchange program was agreed between the two nations for the years 2026 to 2030. A program of cooperation was signed in the field of science and technology for the period 2025 to 2029. MOU was also signed between Indian Council of Cultural Relations and University of Zagreb on the establishment of an ICCR chair of Hindi. Addressing the press meet, Prime Minister Modi said that centuries-old cultural relations are the root of mutual affection and goodwill. PM Modi added that both leaders have decided to increase cooperation in many areas to increase bilateral trade and create a reliable supply chain. Take a listen.
हमने द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को बढ़ाने और विश्वसनीय सप्लाई चेन तैयार करने के लिए कई क्षेत्रों में सहयोग बढ़ाने का निर्णय लिया है। हम फार्मा, एग्रीकल्चर, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, क्लीन टेक्नोलॉजी, डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, सेमीकंडक्टर ऐसे कई महत्वपूर्ण विषयों में सहयोग को बढ़ावा देंगे। शिप बिल्डिंग और साइबर सिक्योरिटी में सहयोग बढ़ाया जाएगा। हमने अपने एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशंस और सेंटर्स के बीच ज्वाइंट रिसर्च और कोलैबोरेशन पर बल दिया है। भारत अपने स्पेस अनुभव को क्रोएशिया के साथ साझा करेगा।
Prime Minister Modi added that respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of any country is essential. He reiterated that dialogue and diplomacy is the only way forward to solve the issues.
हम दोनों सहमत हैं कि आज के वैश्विक वातावरण में भारत और यूरोप की साझेदारी बहुत महत्व रखती है। ईयू के साथ हमारी स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप को मजबूत करने में क्रोएशिया का समर्थन और सहयोग बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। हम दोनों इस बात का समर्थन करते हैं कि यूरोप हो या एशिया, समस्याओं का समाधान रणभूमि से नहीं निकलता। डायलॉग और डिप्लोमेसी से ही वही एकमात्र रास्ता है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi stressed that both nations agree that India-Europe partnership holds great importance in today's global environment. PM Modi also thanked Croatian government for their support against terrorism.
हम सहमत हैं कि आतंकवाद मानवता का दुश्मन है, लोकतंत्र में विश्वास रखने वाली शक्तियों का विरोधी है। 22 अप्रैल को भारत में हुए आतंकी हमले पर संवेदनाओं के लिए हम प्रधानमंत्री जी और क्रोएशिया सरकार के हार्दिक आभारी हैं। ऐसे कठिन समय में हमारे मित्र देशों का साथ हमारे लिए बहुत मूल्यवान था। हम दोनों सहमत हैं कि आज के वैश्विक वातावरण में भारत और यूरोप की साझेदारी बहुत महत्व रखती हैं।
And in a joint press, Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković said that both nations share friendly relations with a lot of mutual respect with significant historical ties. He added that today's agreements will further add momentum to the ties. He also hailed PM Modi's initiative of India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor.
We believe that Prime Minister Modi's initiative on the economic corridor between India, Middle East and Europe is an excellent opportunity. So India, European Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel and then European ports. This is an opportunity to connect Croatia as a Mediterranean gate to Central Europe and to connect it to India, India's economy and India's market. This year, Croatia presides over the Three Seas initiative connecting Baltic Sea, Black Sea and the Adriatic Sea. So this corridor will get even greater Central European dimension.
Croatian Prime Minister added that two leaders also discussed India's efforts to conclude the free trade agreement with the European Union, which Croatia supports.
We have also talked about Indian efforts to conclude the free trade agreement with the European Union, which Croatia supports. We believe that these negotiations will finalize as soon as possible, negotiations about free trade agreement, because that will strengthen our cooperation and it will facilitate easier trade between Croatia and India.
Croatian Prime Minister also expressed solidarity with victims of Pahalgam terrorist attack and supported PM Modi's stand against terrorism. All right, these are the city centre shot visit to city centre with Andrej Plenković, Prime Minister of the Republic of Croatia, in a display of growing camaraderie and diplomatic warmth. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković, they are, you can see in the visuals, taking a stroll through the historic city centre of Zagreb, and you can also see the walk attracting attention from locals and tourists alike, symbolizing this strengthening of ties between India and Croatia. And you can see the two leaders are engaged in relaxed conversation. They walked past iconic landmarks, taking the cultural and architecture vibrancy of the Croatian capital. So these are the visuals of the city centre. It is not just a ceremonial gesture, but a reflection of shared values, mutual respect and commitment to people-centric diplomacy. All right, Croatian Prime Minister expressed solidarity with victims of Pahalgam terrorist attack and supported PM Modi's stand against terrorism.
Expressed sorrow for the terrorist attack that happened in India, after which India had to react. And we also said that the global situation in terms of security is very volatile. So it is important to have the most influential actors worldwide to give their contribution to peace, de-escalate conflict, and to respect the rule of international law. We have understood very well the Indian Prime Minister message on fighting against terrorism.
And in a significant gesture of friendship and shared respect for national heritage, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with his Croatian counterpart Andrej Plenković, visited the Homeland Memorial in Zagreb. The two leaders paid their tributes at the site, which stands as a solemn reminder of Croatia's struggle for independence and unity. Earlier, ahead of delegation-level talks, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was accorded a special welcome at St. Mark's Square in Croatia. Prime Minister of Croatia, Andrej Plenković, accompanied Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi also signed a visitor's book in presence of Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković. Leaders exchanged gifts during the visit. Prime Minister of Croatia, Andrej Plenković, also showed PM Modi that specific site where a military rocket struck the presidential palace on October 7, 1991. The then Croatian government declared Croatia's immediate secession from Yugoslavia. As tensions escalate in West Asia amid the ongoing Iran-Israel conflict, India launched Operation Sindhu to evacuate its nationals from the conflict zones of Iran. In a swift response, the Indian embassy successfully evacuated 110 Indian students from northern Iran. On June 17th, these students were moved by road to Yerevan, the capital of Armenia. They are now being flown to New Delhi, with their arrival expected in the early hours of June 19th. While Operation Sindhu is underway, the embassy continues to assist Indian nationals in relocating from high-risk areas to safer zones within Iran, with further evacuations being planned as conditions allow. Indian citizens in Iran have been urged to remain in close contact with the embassy in Tehran and the Ministry of External Affairs 24/7 control room in New Delhi for timely updates and assistance. India commissioned its first anti-submarine warfare shallow water craft INS Arnala at the Naval Dockyard in Visakhapatnam today. The ceremony was presided over by Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan and attended by top naval officials. Built under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, INS Arnala is designed for surveillance, search and rescue missions and coastal defence. With advanced weapons and sensors, this 77.6 m warship marks a major boost to India's naval strength, reinforcing its position in the strategically vital Indian Ocean region. With over 80% indigenous content, these ships reflect India's growing self-reliance in shipbuilding and defence technology. The induction of INS Arnala, the first of 16 indigenous ASW/SWC ships, marks a pivotal moment for the Indian Navy. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Thousands of people in Cambodia's Phnom Penh took part in an official rally to support the government's actions in an ongoing border dispute with Thailand. The rally, called Solidarity March, was led by Deputy Prime Minister Hun Manet. The dispute between the two neighbours was triggered by the death of a Cambodian soldier last month. Now, Indonesian police have arrested 3 Australian men in connection with a shooting at a villa in Bali that killed 1 Australian man and seriously injured another last week. Authorities said that the suspects have been charged with premeditated murder, which carries death penalty under Indonesian law. Over 1,000-year-old mummy of a woman was found during the installation of gas pipelines in Lima's Puente Piedra. After the unexpected discovery, pipeline installation work was halted to allow experts to expand the excavation area and recover artifacts. France's Interior Ministry is planning to stop small boats from reaching Britain by changing its rules of engagement to intercept vessels. At present, French police are struggling to halt record-breaking surge of people from reaching the UK in small boats. This year, number of migrants arriving in the UK via the channel had risen by 42% due to favourable weather conditions. The US President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that Iran is now looking to engage in negotiations, but he dismissed the attempt, remarking it said it's very late. His comments come amid intensifying military clashes between Iran and Israel and increasing speculation about possible US involvement.
I said it's very late, you know? I said it's very late to be talking.
Mr. President.
We may meet, I don't know, there's a big difference between now and a week ago, right?
Declining to confirm whether the United States intends to target Iranian nuclear facilities, President Trump said, "You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question. I may do it, I may not do it."
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction, why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad.
And Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei rejected US President Donald Trump's. We'll come back to this story, but we'll go across live to the MEA press conference.
Secretary West in the Ministry of External Affairs, Shri Tanmay Lal, to brief us on this ongoing visit of the Prime Minister. We are also joined on stage by Srimati Pooja Kapoor, who's Additional Secretary looking after Central Europe in the Ministry of External Affairs. With that, I invite Secretary West to make his opening remarks, after which we'll take some questions. Sir, over to you.
Namaskar. As you are aware, Prime Minister is completing his visit to Cyprus, Canada and Croatia. And as was just mentioned, this has been an historic visit to Croatia by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. This has been the first ever visit to Croatia by an Indian Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi arrived in Zagreb earlier today on this official visit at the invitation of the Prime Minister of Croatia, His Excellency Andrej Plenković. The visit reflects the growing momentum in India-Croatia partnership. It also has importance in the context of the India-EU strategic partnership, and it shows India's growing ties with partners in Central and Eastern Europe. I would also briefly mention the elements of the program. Upon arrival, Prime Minister was received at the airport in a very special warm gesture by Prime Minister His Excellency Plenković. And the two Prime Ministers held delegation-level talks. This was followed by signing of agreements. Prime Minister Plenković will host a gala dinner in honor of Prime Minister Modi. The two leaders also took a walk together in the historic city center of Zagreb. As we speak, Prime Minister Modi is also meeting and holding discussions with the President of Croatia, His Excellency Zoran Milanović. Earlier, Prime Minister was accorded a ceremonial reception at the St. Mark's Square in Zagreb, where he also signed the Book of Impressions. Prime Minister laid wreath at the monument to Homeland. During the visit, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar also held discussions with his counterpart, Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Gordan Radman, over a working lunch. Earlier, upon arrival at the hotel, Prime Minister Modi received a special welcome that reflected the cultural and people-to-people ties between our countries. This included chanting of Sanskrit shlokas by Croatian friends. Also a short Kathak performance by Croatian artists. A group of Croatian Friends of India and groups of Croatian students who are studying Hindi language at the Department of Indology at the University of Zagreb. And another group of students from Zagreb also welcomed the Prime Minister. Around 200 members of the Indian diaspora also welcomed Prime Minister on this landmark visit to Croatia. The two leaders during the delegation level talks and other occasions have discussed a very broad range of issues. As you're aware, the visit takes place against the backdrop of serious global challenges and flux. The leaders discussed regional and global issues, including ongoing conflicts and other major developments. Cooperation in counterterrorism was a prominent theme of discussions. Prime Minister Modi thanked Prime Minister Plenković for Croatia's support and solidarity in the wake of the terror attacks in Pahalgam. The two leaders agreed that there is a huge potential to expand trade, investment and innovation linkages. Some of the areas where there are business linkages include IT, pharmaceuticals, equipment for wind and solar power generation, railway signaling, arms and unmanned vehicles, ports and shipping, tourism and hospitality. A number of new areas of investment, trade and technology collaboration are also being explored. The leaders agreed to strengthen the India-Croatia Startup Bridge initiative. The leaders also agreed to explore increased collaboration in defense, building upon the MOU that was signed 2 years ago. The two leaders then welcomed the signing of 4 documents. These are an MOU on cooperation in agriculture and allied sectors, a program of cooperation in science and technology, a cultural exchange program, and an MOU on Hindi chair at University of Zagreb. The leaders in their discussions also look forward to an early conclusion of the India-EU FTA, which will give a boost to the bilateral trade and supply chain resilience. Another topic of discussion was increasing connectivity, including through the IMEC Corridor Initiative. The leaders agreed on the importance of concluding a mobility partnership agreement. There are an estimated 17,000 strong Indian diaspora in Croatia. A large number are working in various sectors such as tourism, hospitality, healthcare, and construction. A joint leaders' statement is also being issued. Croatia, as you would know, is the youngest member of the European Union. It has also recently joined the Eurozone and the Schengen arrangement. And the visit of Prime Minister Modi comes soon after the unprecedented first ever visit of the College of Commissioners to India in February. And you would recall that the European Commissioner for Mediterranean, Ms. Dubravka Šuica, who is from Croatia, was also a member of the delegation. Prime Minister Modi's visit gives a boost to the growing high-level exchanges between the two countries in recent years. Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Plenković had earlier met during the COP26 in Glasgow. President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind, at the time had visited Croatia in 2019. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar and Foreign Minister Radman have earlier met in 2023 and 2021. Last year, the Foreign Office consultation, 11th round, was held. Commerce Secretary of India had recently visited Croatia, where he had held extensive discussions on expanding business and investment ties. And there is a growing economic content in our bilateral engagement. To sum up, Prime Minister Modi's historic visit to Croatia, the first ever by an Indian Prime Minister to Croatia, will act as a catalyst to the expansion of India-Croatia partnership and further strengthen India-EU strategic partnership. Thank you.
We now open the floor for questions. Please do identify yourself as you ask your question. Please.
Sir, I am Rajneesh from ANI. My two questions are here. What is the significance of this visit of PM in Croatia? As well as the second question is, how can Croatia as an EU member serve a strategic partner for India in expanding its engagement with European Union.
Okay. Jessica?
Hi, sir. This is Jessica Taneja for DD India. You said that counter-terrorism was also part of the discussion, and this is post-Operation Sindhu. And given the cross-border terrorism from Pakistan, what was discussed between the two leaders specifically on that? And also about the defense, exploration on the defense collaboration, what can you tell us about that as well?
You have a question there?
सर मैं शैलेंद्र मिश्र हूँ डीडी न्यूज़ से जो 4 एमओयू हुए हैं अगर इनको थोड़ा सा विस्तार से बता पाएं चूँकि एग्रीकल्चर हिंदी चेयर और कल्चरल कोऑपरेशन में
जी सर
Thank you. The first question regarding the significance of the visit. So as I mentioned, this has been the first ever visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Croatia. That in itself is a landmark, very historic, and it shows the growing engagement between India and the partners in the Central European region. This also, as I also mentioned, has relevance in the India-EU strategic partnership context. Croatia is the youngest member who has joined the European Union, and Croatia is an important partner in pushing a stronger India-EU strategic partnership, and also for an early conclusion of the India-EU FTA. So in addition to the aspects of collaboration that I mentioned during my initial remarks, these are some of the highlights that contribute to the significance of this visit. Croatia, of course, is a country on the eastern coast of Adriatic Sea, and it has an important location in the Central and Eastern Europe. So a whole range of issues and ways to further increase our trade, investment, technology, connectivity, defense, all these sectors were covered. And some of the MOUs that were signed also reflect the areas of cooperation that both countries are looking at, for example, ranging from science and technology to agriculture and allied sectors. On counterterrorism, there was strong support expressed on countering terrorism through whichever means. There is a strong message also conveyed in the joint leader statement that you'll be able to see. Prime Minister Modi expressed his appreciation for the support that was extended by the Croatian leadership in the wake of the heinous terror attack in Pahalgam. On defense, there has been an MOU which was signed a couple of years ago, and the two leaders discussed various ways to extend this cooperation in terms of industrial collaboration, joint ventures, and other sectors where we can work together with each other, especially in the defense field. Thank you. On the documents that were exchanged today, तो जो आज दस्तावेज एक्सचेंज किए गए उसमें से पहला था एक MOU ऑन कोऑपरेशन इन कृषि के क्षेत्र में और एलाइड सेक्टर्स में. क्रोएशिया में उनमें काफ़ी इंटरेस्ट है भारत के साथ इस विषय में कोऑपरेशन बढ़ाने का. इनके कृषि क्षेत्र के जो मंत्री थे वो भी वहाँ उपस्थित थे और उन्होंने भी अपने वार्तालाप में इसका काफ़ी जिक्र किया कि वो इसमें काफ़ी इच्छुक हैं भारत के साथ कृषि क्षेत्र में कोऑपरेशन बढ़ाने के लिए. डेलीगेशंस हो सकता है एक्सचेंज होंगी और इसमें और कॉन्क्रीट स्टेप्स उठाए जाएंगे. दूसरा जो था डॉक्यूमेंट वो एक प्रोग्राम ऑफ कोऑपरेशन है साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में, उसमें भी अलग अलग विषयों से अलग अलग तरीके से इसमें कोलैबोरेशन बढ़ाया जाएगा। रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूशंस के बीच जॉइंट कॉल्स फॉर रिसर्च वगैरह के माध्यम से इसमें कोऑपरेशन बढ़ाया जाएगा। कल्चरल एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम भी एक साइन हुआ, उसमें अलग अलग जो क्षेत्र हैं कल्चरल एक्सचेंज के उसमें फोकस किया जाएगा। और यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ जाग्रेब जिसमें कि एक इंडोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट करीब 60 वर्ष से है और यहाँ पर इंडोलॉजी का काफ़ी लंबा ट्रेडिशन रहा है। यहाँ यूरोप में 18वीं सदी में एक क्रोएशियन स्कॉलर ने पहली बार संस्कृत का ग्रामर पब्लिश करी थी। यहाँ पर हिंदी में काफ़ी उत्साह है। जैसे मैंने कहा था कि जब प्रधानमंत्री जी का स्वागत हुआ होटल में तो बहुत अलग अलग क्रोएशिया के लोगों ने संस्कृत में श्लोक से लेकर क्लासिकल डांस, इंडियन क्लासिकल डांस, कथक और अन्य तरीक़ों से प्रधानमंत्री का स्वागत किया। हिंदी, यहाँ पर हिंदी में काफ़ी रुचि है और योगा और आयुर्वेद में भी काफ़ी रुचि है क्रोएशिया में। पिछली बार यहाँ पर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस पर अनेक इवेंट्स ऑर्गेनाइज की गई थी और यही एक आगे भी हम आशा करते हैं इसका होगा। तो ये 4 जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स थे वो अलग अलग दिखाते हैं, फ्रॉम साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी टू कृषि टू कल्चर टू हिंदी स्टडीज़।
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press briefing. You will find all the documents on the website of the Ministry of External Affairs. That includes the details of the 4 MOUs as also the joint statement. Thank you very much.
All right, we are getting you the press conference of the MEA on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Croatia. Tanmay Lal, Secretary West, Minister of External Affairs, said that PM's visit reflects growing momentum between India-Croatia partnership, India's growing ties in Central and Eastern Europe, and the two leaders discussed broad range of issues, discussed regional and global issues, huge potential to expand the trade linkages, counter-terrorism was also part of the discussion. MOUs have been signed, 4 MOUs to be precise, on agriculture and allied sectors, cultural exchange program, renewal of ICCR, Hindi chair at University of Zagreb, and on program of cooperation in the field of science and technology. He also said that they discussed early conclusion of India-EU FTA, mentioned about Indian diaspora 17K strong. PM's visit gives boost to high-level engagements, and PM Modi expressed his appreciation for this support extended by Croatia. And also, two leaders discussed industrial collaboration in defense sector. So this was primarily the gist of the MEA press conference, and we'll have a detailed story in our subsequent bulletins. Moving on, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei rejected US. All right, we'll come back to this story, but we'll go across to these visuals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is meeting with the Croatian President Zoran Milanovic in the capital city of Zagreb. You can see in the visuals, President of Croatia is meeting the Indian delegation to Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, you can say. And these are the visuals from Croatia. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting the President of Croatia, Zoran Milanovic. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, NSA Ajit Doval, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. Meeting primarily focused on strengthening bilateral ties with discussions ranging from trade, technology to renewable energy and cultural cooperation. And we heard in the MEA press conference also that PM's visit reflects growing momentum between India-Croatia partnership, India's growing ties in Central and Eastern Europe. And the two leaders discussed a broad range of issues, discussed regional and global issues, huge potential to expand trade linkages, and 4 MOUs also have been signed. Moving on, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei rejected US President Donald Trump's demand for unconditional surrender on Wednesday. In a recorded speech aired on television, Khamenei said that the Americans should know that any US military intervention will undoubtedly be accompanied by irreparable damage.
And of course, the Americans, those who are familiar with the politics of this region, know that America's intervention in this matter is 100% to their detriment. What they will suffer in this regard is much greater than what Iran may suffer. The damage America will suffer if it makes a military intervention in this field will undoubtedly be irreparable.
Earlier, US President Donald Trump demanded Iran's unconditional surrender. Iran's leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei issued a stern warning of a strong response to Israel. In his own words, vowed to show the Zionist no mercy. More in this report.
Flames and smoke rose from a building in Tehran as the Israel-Iran conflict rages on. Israel-Iran conflict continues for the 6th straight day. The arch foes exchanged another round of overnight strikes. The Israeli military says that 2 barrages of missiles were launched in the first 2 hours of Wednesday morning. Explosions were heard over Tel Aviv. Israel's military earlier on Tuesday said it has struck Iran deep, hitting its nuclear, ballistic and command capabilities.
We've struck deep, hitting Iran's nuclear, ballistic and command capabilities. The Iranian regime has spent years getting closer to a nuclear weapon. They have spent billions building a ballistic missile program. Our mission is clear: to remove the threat at its source.
Israel has warned the residents in a southwestern area of Tehran to evacuate. Iran has claimed to have used hypersonic missiles against Israel. In a dramatic turn of events, US President Donald Trump demanded Iran's unconditional surrender. The US President insisted Washington has played no part in ally Israel's bombing campaign, but also warned Iran that his patience was wearing thin as the conflict entered a 6th day. Trump also met with the national security team in the White House over the worsening West Asia situation. While he has repeatedly vowed to avoid wading into the forever wars of the Middle East, Trump ordered the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier to the region along with a number of US military aircraft. US also shut its embassy in Jerusalem until Friday due to the security situation in the region. This includes the consular sections Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Meanwhile, Israel has begun flying home citizens stranded abroad by Iran conflict. First aircraft bringing home Israelis landed at Ben Gurion Airport on Wednesday. On the other hand, fearing violence, many residents of Tehran have also fled. On Tuesday, long queues stretched outside bakeries and petrol stations as people rushed to stock up on fuel and basic supplies. Shalini Puri's report, DD India.
That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.